Good day, everyone. I am Kent Ian Eliap, and today we are going to delve in the assessment in teaching writing. Imagine a student pouring their heart and soul into a research paper, only to receive it back covered in red marks. While constructive criticism is important, this approach can be disheartening and hinder the student's motivation. Effective assessment in writing instruction goes beyond just grading. It's about guiding students towards improvement. Effective teaching hinges on students on understanding how much students are learning. Assessment provides us with this crucial information. It helps us identify areas where students excel and pinpoint topics that require further exploration. However, writing assessment can be a double-edged sword. Grading mountains of essays can be incredibly time-consuming, and students might become discouraged if they receive overwhelming negative feedback. To address these challenges, we need to move beyond a purely product-based approach. A holistic assessment considers not just the final written piece, but also the writer's journey in creating it. This includes their thought process, planning strategies, and revision techniques. Assessment in the context of teaching writing. There are different lenses through which we can view assessment. Traditionally, writing has been assessed as a product. This means evaluating the final written piece for aspects like grammar, sentence structure, organization, and clarity. But writing is also a process. We want to see if students can develop their ideas effectively, organize their thoughts logically, and revise their work to improve clarity and flow. Assessment can also be categorized as a formative or summative. Formative assessment happens throughout the writing process. It's about providing ongoing feedback to help students improve their work. Summative assessment, on the other hand, occurs at the end of the unit or occurs to measure a student's overall learning and achievement. Finally, it's important to distinguish between assessment and testing. Assessment is broader and considers the whole picture, including the student's effort, progress, and development. Testing is more focused on measuring a specific skill or knowledge set, often through a standardized format like multiple choice questions. While tests can be a helpful tool, they should not be the sole method of assessing writing ability. Purposes of writing assessment. Writing is not just a means of communication, it is a powerful tool for learning. When students engage in the writing process, they organize their thoughts, deepen their understanding of the subject matter, and practice critical thinking skills like analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Assessment plays a vital role in maximizing the benefits of writing instruction. Here are some key reasons why we assess writing. First up, reflect the student's growth as a writer. We can monitor how students are developing as a writer over time, identifying areas of strength and the areas that need further development. Second, inform students and parents about students' achievement. Assessment allows us to communicate effectively with students and parents about a student's writing strengths and weaknesses. Third, guide writing instruction. By analyzing student writing samples, we can tailor our teaching strategies to address specific needs and learning gaps within the class. Fourth, substantiate the grade level standard met by the learner. We can assess student writing against established grade level standards or learning objectives. And fifth, evaluate the effectiveness of the instructional program Assessment data can be used to evaluate the effectiveness of our writing instruction and make necessary adjustments to the curriculum or teaching methods. How to assess writing? Effective assessment goes beyond a single final grade. We should strive for continuous assessment throughout the writing process. This means providing feedback at each stage, from planning and outlining to drafting, revising, and editing. This ongoing feedback allows students to identify and correct their mistakes early on, leading to a more polished final product. When giving feedback, it is pivotal to be constructive. Point out areas for improvement, but also acknowledge the student's strengths and efforts. Sandwich criticism between compliments to create a more positive and encouraging learning environment. There are different ways to deliver feedback. Written comments are a common approach, but they can be time-consuming for teachers and overwhelming for students. Individual conferences allow for a more personalized approach, but scheduling individual time with each student can be challenging, especially in large classes. Recorded feedback using audio or video recordings can be a good alternative, though it requires access to technology. Thank you for your attention. Now I would like to introduce the next presenter, Miss Rika Joy Tambalangon. Over to you.
Other assessment strategies. Assessing writing involves various strategies to understand a student's ability to express ideas effectively in written form. So, observation. Teachers monitor student writing habits and peer interaction during writing activities to gauge their approach and engagement. In writing samples, teachers collect student drafts and final works to track their progress and encourage self reflection. Checklet. These are used to assess specific elements of writing such as structure, clarity, and content. Anecdotal records. Teacher make notes on student work to record learning progress. Checklets for student and teacher. These ensure that writing outputs align with the given prompts or objective, providing a focused assessment. So, this strategy provides a comprehensive assessment of students' writing skills, tracking their progress, and ensuring alignment with the set objectives. Assessing writing in large diverse classroom in the Philippines requires strategic approach to manage the task effectively. On focusing on a specific aspect or competency, this strategy based on the principle of less is more involves concentrating on one or two competencies at a time such as vocabulary, spelling, mechanics of subject-verb agreement. Teacher student towards this target competency that the writing program aims to achieve. By focusing on one aspect at a time, it makes the task of assessing writing more manageable and effective. If the task is large, this linguistic focus can be combined with assessing one stage of the writing process at a time. When, as, when assessing writing, it can be helpful for teacher and student to agree on a list of a written symbol or code to use correcting errors. So, here are some codes that can be useful for beginner and intermediate learning. So, number one, SP for spelling error. 2. WO error in a word order. 3. Punctuation error problem. 4. Tense of the verb. 5. Wrong word. 6. Missing word. Number 7. Incorrect word. Number 8. Error in a word form. Number 9. Error in combining two words into one. Number 10. Signal for run on a sentence. Proofreading symbols for advanced learners. So, we have 17 proofreading marks. The marks, what it means, and how to use it. How to assess writing. Assessing writing can be made more efficient by incorporating pair correction and feedback as well as utilizing technology. Pair correction and feedback involve students providing constructive feedback on each other's writing. This strategy promotes self-regulation and encourages students to take ownership of their writing goals. It lightens the teacher's workload and challenges learners to meet writing competencies. Students should focus on identifying what is good and clear areas for improvement and how to improve in their pair works. Pair correction is not meant for grading, but collaborative learning and improvement. Utilizing technology. Technology tools such as word processor, Turnitin, and Grammarly can be utilized to enhance writing skills. Processors assist in refining grammar and structure, while tools like Turnitin help detect plagiarism. Teacher can encourage students to use this technology to improve the quality of their writing. By incorporating pair correction and feedback and utilizing technology, the assessment process become more collaborative, efficient, and supportive of students' writing development. So, when to assess writing? Writing assessment should be integrated with instruction to prevent teacher from being overwhelmed by a large volume of papers. Timely feedback is crucial for both teacher and student as it enables to reflection on mistake, clarification of comments, and suggestion for improvement. While diagnostic tests provide initial insight, formative assessment are initial for monitoring student progress throughout by the writing process. By conducting assessment at appropriate intervals during instruction, teacher can provide timely feedback and support student in their writing development. This ensures that assessment is not seen as a separate task but rather as an integral part of the teaching and learning process.
So good day everyone. So I am Ellen Grace Tayao and I am the assigned reporter in this topic. So now I am going to discuss to you on how to grade the written outputs of the students. So let's begin. So when the teachers are going to grade the students' outputs, it's based on the types of assessment that is given. If it is testing the learner's linguistic competence, then the grades can be taken from the actual scores they get from the test. So one of the example of type of the test is the multiple choice, the true or false, or the matching types, and so on. And if the assessment is intended to monitor the progress in learning the writing process or responding to a writing task, so the teachers will use the criteria or rubrics to evaluate correctly the performance of learners. So what do we mean by rubrics? It is an assessment tool that defines the criteria to be evaluated and the rate given to each criterion. So on the other hand, rubrics is a guide for teachers to give a fair grades to students' performance. So Calfee and Miller 2007 listed the following as the essential criteria for evaluating the writing outputs. So the first essential criteria that they write or that they listed was the idea. So in idea, it is how the students being follow what they are going to do to the chosen topic that they get and how their knowledge or understanding apply with that certain topic. In short, how they use their knowledge to address the scenario or topic. So the second one is the organization. So here, it is where the students organize their work and use the suitable presentation pattern. It's about how they are going to apply the chronological order when writing, like for example, a story. So the third one is the voice. So voice, it means that the students need to share their ideas, their points of view, or their personality as a writer. It doesn't mean that they are just only relying on social media, depending the information coming from it. Instead, they should make their own perspective to the certain topic, or they should make their own explanation to explain or to give judgment to the certain topic that they use. And the next is the sentence fluency. It means you are knowledgeable about observing the lexical and syntactical structures. You are already fluent and master to use the part of speech to to make a sentence fluency by the combination of the right punctuation mark used in words or sentence. It is achieved only when the writer pays close attention to the way individual sentences are crafted and groups of sentences are combined. Next is the combinations, or the conventions rather. It refers to the ability of students about his or her mastery of using grammar, right spelling, and following the mechanics. And the last one is the presentation. So in presentation, it is the overall style of the writer, the outcomes of the finished product, the outcomes of the finished product, and his or her unique style that used in writing. So that's the essential criteria listed by Calfee and Miller 2007. So a rubric have a two generate types. So a rubric have a two generate types. The holistic and then the traits rubrics. The holistic rubrics consist of a single scale with all criteria to be included in the evaluation being considered together, like for example, the clarity, the organization, and the mechanics. So with a holistic rubric, the rater assigns a single score. So usually on a 1 to 4 or 1 to 6 point scale based on an overall judgment of the student work. However, this holistic does not give specific feedback for the learner on what area to improve. So following our example of holistic rubrics. So the first one is the target competency. So in target competency, it shows how good your sentence fluency when it comes to written communication. When it comes to written communication. So the following are example of holistic rubrics. So the first one is the target competency. So it means that how good your sentence fluency when it comes to written communication. You are giving an expression, or you give voice to the final paper or project of the writer or students through written communication. The next is the above average. Audience can easily identify the focus of the work and is engaged by its clear focus and relevant details. Information is presented logically and naturally. There are no more than two mechanical errors or misspelled words to distract the reader. The third one is the sufficient. So in sufficient, the audience is easily able to identify the focus of the student work, which is supported by relevant ideas and supporting details. Information is presented in a logical manner that is easily followed. There is minimal interruption to the work due to misspellings or mechanical errors. In developing, audience can identify the central purpose of the student work without little difficulty, and the supporting ideas are presenting and clear. There are some misspells or errors, but they do not seriously distract from the work. And the last one is needs improvement. So the audience can clearly or cannot clearly identify the central ideas or purpose of the student work. There are many errors and misspells words that negatively affect the audience's ability to read the work. So the example number 2 of holistic rubrics are assessing the student research paper. So in number 1, content of the paper. So when you are going to assess the student research paper, you are going to first look the content of the paper. So the research explain well the important issues in the field of study, the background and importance of research. So in short, in content of the paper, student give the right information, support clearly the evidence, and conduct or made the research comprehensible. Second, writing style. So in writing style, it should be well organized. The grammar and spelling that are used are free from errors. So it means comprehensible and it shows fluency. The third is the format. So in format, you are going to look the proper margin, the proper margin, spacing, the indentation, the correct referencing should correctly apply and follow. So the fourth one is the reference and citations. So it should be complete and it is relevant sources coming from reliable source like books, journal, articles, and other sources. So the second types of rubrics is the trait or the analytic rubrics. So what do we mean by this? So the trait or the analytic rubrics is one that explicitly break down an assignment into its constitutive skills and provides students with guidelines for what each performance level look like for each skills. Rubrics in evaluating the research output of the students. So here, it uses the rating scale. The highest is 5 and the lowest is 1. If you are going to assess the student's research output, then you use and rate it from 1 to 5 by looking on or depending the equivalent of meaning of each number. So through the scale, it avoid bias and it shows fair treatment to all. So as you can see, this image shows the example of these analytic rubrics. So that's all and thank you.